I think they're good. I don't think they're a contender, if that makes sense. I think the Niners are a good team. I don't think that they're going to win 3 playoff games and get to the Super Bowl. I think they've lost too much on defense. I mean, to win those games, it would have to be probable shootouts. And I think Purdy's good. I think the offense is good. I don't think they're that good.
Like, what can Robert Salah do to keep the defense competitive?
Well, I do think you can do things schematically to try to confuse quarterbacks. I mean, what you're trying to do is anything you can to get them to hesitate, to confuse them. You know, it's funny because one of the common thoughts of Salah was that he didn't really do that much unique stuff. You know, he liked having D linemen get up the field, wreak havoc, you know, play the run on the way to the quarterback. You kind of had a pretty decent idea, I guess, of what coverage you might get. And it's weird because different people have different opinions on that. Some people will tell you, man, they respect that. You know, those guys just do what they do. They know where their vulnerabilities are. They play to that. You know, they're so proficient at what they do. And then there's others that say, man, it can be a little bit predictable. I would say to you, predictable and bad personnel, that's a problem, right? So if you have really good personnel and they can play that defense very well, then you can be somewhat predictable. If you have deficient personnel and you're predictable, you're probably going to get shredded. You're probably going to get torn up. So what he can do is everybody has a book on Robert Salah. Everybody has a book on what he likes to do. He can go against the book, right? Play different coverages than what people are expecting him to play, bring more pressure than he's brought typically in the past. I guess that would be the one real benefit of him, you know, being maybe a little bit more vanilla than other people are, is that he kind of has a blank slate to do some unique, different things that people aren't expecting him to do.
Man, good stuff, Ross. Look, I got a lot of character flaws, Ross, but one of them is not admitting when I'm wrong. And, you know, I was watching Mac. I got caught up in Mac Jones, the stronger arm. But when Brock Purdy returned, I was like, that's what he does. His eyes, he's looking for that home run. And I'm not dissing Mac, but I felt like Mac was a one-read guy. He knew where he was going, and he got rid of it. What did you make of Brock Purdy? And do you think it was a lightweight disrespectful that not just people in the Bay, but the media kind of start running with, you know, the Richard Shermans of the world? Do you kind of stay with Mac because he's the hot hand?
I don't think it's disrespectful to discuss whether or not you stay with Mac Jones because he's the hot hand, or how long you stay with Mac Jones, in the sense that, you know, there were some ups and downs, right? And we all saw that. And I think even earlier this year there were. Dr. David Chow, who comes on my show, he saw the practice footage of Brock and he said he's still not 100%. He's still not fully pushing off that back foot. So I think it was fair to question, Guru, whether or not they would leave Mac in there until Brock was totally super duper 100%, if you catch my drift.
Totally.
But and also coaches are really hesitant to mess with a good thing, to mess with something that's working. And I heard you guys before I came on talking about Mac getting an opportunity elsewhere, which I think he will. I think John Lynch and the 49ers deserve a ton of credit for signing Mac Jones to a 2-year deal, because you have to assume at this point, given how the prospects are looking for the NFL draft, that Mac Jones is going to be pretty high on the list of available quarterbacks if your team needs a starter. So I think it's fair to wonder if the Niners would keep Mac Jones in there for a few more weeks until Purdy was totally 100%. Now, the people that went so far as to say, you know, he's being soft benched, or, you know, Mac Jones is just as good, I thought that was too far, and that was a little bit disrespectful. I also thought it was unrealistic given the contract that Brock has. He was always going to be back out there at some point. And I do think he adds some elements that Mac Jones does not. Certainly he's more mobile, but also I think he does hunt up the big play a little bit more than Mac does. In fairness, I think Mac's doing exactly what Kyle Shanahan wants him to do, which is get the ball out to the first guy in the progression. I think you could actually criticize Purdy at times for maybe holding on to it too long, waiting for certain guys to get open.
Ross, you obviously see the Eagles a ton. I'm sure you're familiar with the Rams. You know, the 49ers are 7-4. Are they? You think they're good? Is this a good football team?
I think they're good. I don't think they're a contender, if that makes sense, right? So, Steiny, I do my power rankings, and I'm literally pulling it up right now just so I'm not lying to you guys here. I have the Rams 1, Eagles 2, Seahawks 3 in the entire NFL.
Oh,
okay. Rams, Eagles, Seahawks. I have Niners 13. Okay. So to me, they're a good team, but I have them behind those three. Also, Colts, Patriots, Broncos, Bills, Ravens, Chiefs, Lions, Packers, Bucks. Then I get to the Niners. My power rankings are based on what I think would happen if these teams played like a best of 5, best of 7 at a neutral site. I think the Niners are a good team. I don't think that they're going to win 3 playoff games and get to the Super Bowl. I think they've lost too much on defense. I mean, to win those games, it would have to be probable shootouts. And I think Purdy's good. I think the offense is good. I don't think they're that good. I don't think they're that good that they're winning 3 road playoff shootouts.
I want to talk to you about number 85. He's in a zone. That's George Kittle. And Steiny and I and Niner fans used to fight. Even when the Niners were going to Super Bowls at 19, a lot of the times, Ross, you know, he wasn't running routes. He was helping the O-line. I'm like, man, let him cook like Kelsey. With the Niners and me saying I think the offense has to go up a level or 2 to offset what maybe the defense is not getting you, do you think it's crazy that Kyle could use or Niner fans could start seeing George Kittle use more downfield? Because, Ross, every time I see him do something to make a great catch, I'm like, boy, I would love to see. And he's catching some, don't get me wrong. But if they really went to him, how much of a problem could he be and an enhancement to this offense?
You know, players often have these conversations, which is to say, what would Kittle do if he were with the Chiefs? What would it look like for Kelsey if he switched and he was with the Niners? Because so often these guys are asked to do different things based on the team that they're with, based on the scheme that they're in. I do think, I don't know, it doesn't sound to me, you guys are there every day. I don't know if is Ayuk ever going to play this year?
I'm thinking not, but I don't know what Steiny thinks, and, you know, the window's not open yet.
Yeah, looking iffy.
It doesn't sound like he's going to. And so there may come a time where they have to throw the ball to Kittle even more. But they have a good feel of who they are on offense. I mean, the offense goes through McCaffrey. I don't think he gets nearly enough credit for what he's doing this year. Guys, he's played a long time now.
Yes.
He's gotten a lot of tread on those tires. For him to be carrying the load in the manner in which he is this year, I can't tell you how impressive that is and how much respect I have. He's coming off of a injury-plagued year. You know, obviously he changed his training or whatever he did. His dad talked to me about that on the Ross Tucker podcast. For him to be able to carry the load the way he has, I would like to hear his name mentioned more for Offensive Player of the Year. You know, I hear Jonathan Taylor and some of these other guys. I would like to hear more McCaffrey, given the fact that he, in my mind, is the number one reason why they're 7-4 and they're still in this thing.